All right, we could probably come in with 76.55 now. Let me see. I'm just planning the trade, team. I'm not taking anything yet. My personal day trade Wayfair right now 76.55 by 74.54. If this closes as a high wave, I also got to sign in my broker real quick because I completely forgot to do that. So let me do that now. And I'm gonna put Palantir on the list too. PLTR down there. Nice little high wave-ish candle. Yeah, I'm recording, so we'll at least have those recordings. All right, I'm gonna set that Wayfair trade up. Is everybody also familiar with the R system to make sure you know what you're risking on the trades? $76.55. 76.55. All right, so I got the Wayfair trade set up. Let me throw this into Slack as well. Day trades, paste, and then we'll try to plan out targets on this one too. David's familiar. All right, perfect. Yeah, max would be 2 R's of your account. Most traders, I'm typically trading under 2 R's, under 1%. But most traders are usually about 1% or less. And then I'll share the chart with you guys too. 76.55. This would be bullish. 74.54. This might be a cancel. We'll see. There it is. 74.54. And then we'll figure out targets, but I think we're going to maybe be able to cancel this one and let it retest a little bit further. SoFi is pulling back, so if anybody is interested, again, I was kind of looking for this 1130 zone anyway. Nvidia could be interesting. Let me see Nvidia on the daily charts. Got a lot of resistance above us, somewhere around 470.28. That being said, if this market does want to continue bullish and break out, Nvidia would be a contender for sure. Tesla, bearish engulfing candle. Let me see Tesla on the daily. TSLA. Again, it has been a little bit chop city. We're getting rejected again off that 10 on the daily. The 10 EMA. This should be where we're at now. Should be looking at a bounce spot for any bulls. I don't like the fact we just trapped all the bulls, and I think I'd rather lean more bearish than bullish. However, we're at support now. Next one down would take us to about 264.85. After that, probably about 262, and then we're just gone. We're just running bearish. But this should be a spot where we get a little bit of a green candle. Wayfair. In worst case, I think I'd want to change the setup 75.95. That's what that looks like. 9.5. Then we go 73.94. Starting, yeah. So now we're at the retest. That could be interesting. I'm gonna cancel Wayfair from me. Worst case, I think we could get a different trade on it. So with a better setup. this. Throw that in Slack. Cancel W. Did I miss comment? Is going to be all day trading. So yeah, you can check the calendar, but we do have classes throughout the day. But I'll be with you guys until 12 noon Eastern. I'm on the East Coast, by the way. Then we have Johnny coming in from Hawaii, and he's going to be picking up from 12 till 3. And then today I'll be back with you guys. I think somebody else is coming in after Johnny, maybe Tony, talking about options. And then I'll be back 4 or 5 to talk about long-term investing. We'll probably go over at least the system, the fundamentals in worst case. And then if you guys have any companies you want to try to take a look at, we could take a look at some of the health of the companies and see if that's something to consider for the long term. Be careful on puts in general, I think. And then we have, I believe, Jerremy Newsome. I know he just ran like 17 hours the other day in a marathon. Palantir could be good. This would be also above that $19 zone, 1907. But we should have, I think, Jerremy coming in later today too. 19.07. $18.67. If that candle closes red, I might have to take this one. Personal day trade, PLTR, 19.07 by 18.67. Did close red. Let's see, targets on this one, 2027. So we got to get above $20. I don't like that too much, but just a nice psychological whole number. Let's see. This is 19.07. 0.07. And again, this is a stop limit buy, so we don't. Shoot, it already popped. Did anybody catch it? Is anybody in it? I'd have to set this thing now as a limit. I just looked over. I was like, oh man, I just missed it. Dang it. Let me know if anybody else is a little bit quicker than I am. Yeah, by the way, don't feel like now you got Nvidia might be waking up, SPY is waking up, so that was a little bit of a pullback. Again, we're still at that little resistance on the SPY, so I don't trust any of the bullish move yet. But we definitely have a setup on the vids. 469. I'm gonna cancel Palantir because I missed it. Let me cancel that real quick in Slack. Nice pop though. At least we saw it. And then Nvidia looks like it could be bouncing a little bit again. I don't really trust the bulls yet because you got resistance just staring us in the face. Tesla does look a little bit weaker, but we are bouncing off that little support, and AMD could be fun. AMD 114.24. Let's go to, I could probably do about $1. 113.24. My personal day trade, 114.24 by 113.24. That's AMD, by the way. I probably should have typed that. I'll put that in Slack. AMD. This would be a stop limit. 114.24, 114.24. All right, so I have that one set up again. We won't get triggered unless we start breaking out of that candle. Yep. So the second number, and also Rhonda, just so you know, too, you're on host and panelist if you want to change it over. But Rhonda's asking, is 113.24 your stop loss? Correct. Always the second number. So it always is going to look like this: entry by stop. W. Yeah, this could still be an S curve on it, but also it does look a little bit like the SPY for right now. So I think it's one to watch. What I would wait for on Wayfair, see if we get a little rejection here. This purple line is the VWAP. So in some ways it's kind of like VPOC a little bit, but it's giving you the average of the volume per price. So this line is typically going to be a little bit of a support resistance, a little bit of a target. What I would think could happen, or what I would wait for, see if we come back down, maybe we get a double bottom, something like that out of the gate would be fun. Palantir, what a miss, man. Just not quick enough. That being said, too, and again, I'd still wait, have a little patience on Wayfair, I think. But if you get a good rejection here, might not be a horrible idea setting some kind of entry above it. Stop could go here. But again, this is still some selling. Anybody that got hosed on the way in that took this thing bullish, they might try to get out for small as loss as possible. And I think we either get one more down push, maybe a double bottom, something like that. So I'd still watch that one. Lori says I would wait till earnings are over, but that's just my take. AMD has earnings tomorrow. This is a day trade. I'll be out of it either for a win or a loss, but I'm not holding AMD overnight. Well, all of any of these trades that I'm looking for just in out today. I don't really hold day trades into swing trades because essentially the risk is different, right? I'm taking a much smaller, like if I was to, and again, earnings tomorrow on AMD, so I wouldn't be opening a brand new swing trade on it today. Might as well just wait, see what the market gives you, and then we'll go from there. But for me, I'm looking to, like, if I'm putting my entry here, my stop somewhere down here, this is a very, very tight setup. If I was to swing trade it, I'd have to be pushing on the daily chart, and that would give me a much bigger entry to stop, and then obviously you need the stock to do crazier things. But if I take this type of setup where entry's down here, stop is here, and then all of a sudden tomorrow it does gap on earnings, or even if it didn't have earnings and it had news and it even drops $2-3, I'm losing a lot more than my R that I'm trying to stay within. How often does that happen? Let me see. I think I missed something from Greg says, I'm just needing that to get back to the peg you're holding. I own Palantir. I got a lot lower though. I was buying like $7-8 range. So right now I'm still holding. I do have covered calls on Palantir for $24 strike price. That expires August 18th, I think. So if they want to take my shares at $24, they could have them. It's theirs. What's target on SoFi? Let me see. Strong candle. You're in this one? Let me see on the daily chart real quick. This short float is working. I think next target could get us to, if you could break this little red candle on the 3-minute, probably next target take us to about 1193. And then after that, 1220. You could have a little bit of more room on this thing. You got to get a nice close above this This red opening candle. All right, just some sideways chop on AMD. So far, I think we got our entries at least in the right place. SPY is back to that resistance. It is 2023. The Bulls have been playing a pretty exciting game, but are they strong enough to get through this? Wayfair, she did have a little pullback. I'm wondering if we could take something like this on Wayfair. 76.04. And then 74.03. We probably don't even have to get that far. 73.75. We'll go 70. Can Wayfair get to 83.06 today? Let's see. You got a paper trade on it, 75.05. Yeah, I'm thinking that. I mean, it looks decent. It's not really the pullback that I want to see yet. I still want one more dip, to be honest. But I see the setup. You're at the VPOC for the day today. I'm going to give it a few more minutes. What I would like to see, and again, what I like to see and what actually happens is two different things. I would love to see one more pullback. Get me somewhere down here, double bottom, and then we look to take it. So I'm personally going to be patient on it. AMD looks like it's going to be probably a cancel. Yeah, you're good with that. Yeah. Hopefully my plan. But again, if it doesn't do that for me, then I'm just like, this is what I'm planning for. And if it just goes this way, straight to the moon, it is what it is. I just don't take it. Just didn't do what I wanted. What would be a good target for JD on a day trade? Yeah, let's check out JD. Is Baba moving too? Man, I'm telling you, some of these Chinese names are picking it up. I also got some cover calls on Bob at 120, so I don't know. I thought I was good there, but again, if they want to take my shares at 120, that's on them. JD, let me see. Man, retest gap, came back, retested, bounced with strength. I don't see another real resistance on JD. I mean, for day trade, I'd be looking for like 42.64. Otherwise, I think 43.58 is also very possible even today. Lots of strength, and some of these names are breaking out. All right, let me see if we're going to cancel AMD. I think we could readjust this, if anything, but it's not holding strength yet. Otherwise, so I think I might cancel the original and probably do like a 113.87 if I was going to take it, but that's also below the VWAP. I like this volume coming in, so I'm going to have to look to set this up, change it. 113.89. This could get me better risk reward. Doesn't look super strong. The market did get up into that resistance and rejected a few times as well. 113.30. I'll keep it 113.24. The other thing I want to look for is wave counts. So everything, if and RLT does have solid videos on the wave counts. So if anybody's not sure what I'm doing right now, this probably puts us into a wave 3. But essentially, the Elliott wave is everything kind of moves in 5 waves. 3 is usually the longest one. And I'm looking at this going, this looks like a 1, 2. This entire move is probably 3. So for right now, I'm going to cancel AMD for me. I'm not going to play that candle, although there is some good volume on it. So cancel. Cancel AMD. Vito's in the house. Sorry for joining late. All I caught was a bunch of hellos. Are there any positions identified? I'm not in any positions yet. I'm not. Some of the other team members, I believe. I don't know if anybody caught the. We almost caught the Palantir. That one I was just too slow, so we threw that one out there. I personally missed it, so I'm not sure if anybody else caught it. Some people, it looks like in JD, some people are in SoFi, but for me personally, no, not yet. Just waiting. Square. You want targets on Square? This is too late for me to get into Square. I would need a pullback, probably retest into this VWAP somewhere 80.23. So if it comes down there again, I might be able to join you. Otherwise, targets on it would be. That looks like a crazy breakout day. If this thing holds today, I would keep Square on the list for a little bit. That's a beautiful open, nice little run. I would be looking for targets, probably about 81, 84. Might fall a little short of that. But we are definitely squeezing out any shorts on Square right now. Which platform do I use? So I use TOS, and then I also use TradingView. So I have TradingView on my other screen. Mainly, I like TOS. We'll go through this too. I like TOS because one, it just what I've been trading with for a while. Watch all those wicks, man. I don't know. This could still be a little S-curve spot, and this could happen. If we can start breaking above those wicks and closing, this market will probably take off. Otherwise, we've been just hitting ourselves in the face with resistance, and this thing could fall. But so I like TOS just because I'm more comfortable with it. I look at a lot of stocks at once, trying to find which could give me a possible setup. But then I'll leave TradingView on the other screen on the daily chart just so I could get some ranges on stocks and things like that. So I'm looking at more of a bigger time frame on TradingView, and then I'm looking more on the everything. Like I said, everything here is 3 minute except for the SPY. The main reason for me that I do that is just because I'm trying to pick my entries off a 3 minute chart, trying to see where that sets up. But I also don't want to go counter trend the market either, and I also don't want to get lost in the small time frame. So if any guys are like trading and struggling and like what's going on, every time I get into something, I get stopped out. You could get a lot of false positives. The smaller the time frame that you start trading on, like if we start trading the 1 minute, there's 1,000 trades. But I wanted to look for like what the actual market is doing right before I get in. So a lot of things kind of, tech looks a little bit weaker, but Palantir still looks good. For now, it's hitting a little bit of resistance. SoFi could be decent still. You got that high volume short squeeze on it. But then you look at the market and you're like, I don't know. On the daily, we've already talked about this a lot, but there's a resistance right there that we would have to break, and it's going to be a tough one. So, I think if we break this green candle, which is, did news just hit? We got some high volume something coming in. Hold on, let me check news real quick. That looked like something just broke. If you were bullish, be cautious. Let me see if I can find anything. No, I don't see any news for it. Okay, we'll have to see where this candle closes, but that looked like it just something happened. Let's see, TradingView. Semis are falling. Yeah, we might want to think to go short. We'll see. We could not break through that resistance. Just missed that Tesla short. Yeah, we could also look for 10 EMA somewhere too. Ninja says, what's the best way to avoid getting wicked into a trade? Just to watch the trade go the opposite way. I would say there's no there's no real way to determine if that wick is about to happen. Otherwise, you just probably wouldn't take the trade in the first place. But I would say that the longer the time frame, the less that would happen, right? So if you start again, if you're on a 1 minute chart, you're probably going to get wicked in a lot. If you're on a 5 minute chart, it's going to be a little bit less, right? And it could always still happen. But if they call it a trap for a reason, right? So if you were trying to get into, let's say Palantir, right? Palantir right here, maybe you're trying to take the break above this candle. It's very possible you just got into that and now it's looking like a double top and immediately pulled back. So, ooh, this SPY, Hector's puts are starting to wake up a little bit. There's a trap. The main thing that you could do on traps is not really to avoid them, but know how to play them, right? If you're trying to get into a trade and your stop is somewhere down here and you could identify there was a trap pretty much immediately, I would probably be aggressively taking my stops and pushing it up higher. Right. And then you go, hey, listen, all those people just got trapped. Maybe I reverse the position and I take it actually short. And then we could not break through that area before. So this might be an opportunity to actually reverse that position and try to make money to the downside. Right. Because, and we did that on Meta pretty well on Friday. We identified a solid candle that came in and was able to reverse it. What's a wave count? So this is the Elliott wave count. So basically, let's see if I can explain this one the best way I possibly can. The Elliott wave count just says everything moves in essentially 5 different waves, right? So let's say we're looking at, and that's why I was like, okay, I'm going to cancel the AMD because I think now we're in wave 3. So essentially what happens is, let's say you have, let me put on trading view for the minute just because I get some more drawing space. There we go. You guys should all see trading view, right? So on the wave count, what it's telling you is you have, let's say you have a stock going like this, right? That's obviously bullish, right? It's going higher. So if this is your move, everyone's like, great, where do we get in? And you're trying to do your analysis on a stock, and you're like, well, I don't want to buy it here, right? Because I mean, we know it's bullish, but all those other people came in before me and were able to, basically, I'm buying somebody else's profits at that point, right? So you don't want to buy it as this thing comes back. So you're looking for maybe some kind of a pullback, something like that. But you've already determined you're bullish on a stock, maybe something like even Square on this breakout. Like, I probably don't want to buy it here because everybody else already bought it, and now they're going to look to take their profits. So I want to try to get in, but I want to try to get into something that is, give me a fair price on it. So somebody that does come in and buys the high because they're like, hey, it's definitely going higher. Let's say they put $1 million on the position, $1 million on this position, right? How do you think they feel if it goes up a little bit? Okay, they're correct, they're right, they got nothing to worry about. But then it starts to pull back because obviously as we start to go higher, everybody else who got in, they're going to start taking their profits, right? How do you think that same person now starts pulling back with the 1 million? Their account is now maybe, I don't know, 900,000. How do you think they feel then? Not great, a little bit worse than before. But this is your first little pullback, and he did his analysis. He's good to go. Yeah, the market, you're never going to pick the right price. You're still okay, right? So now you went from $1 million to 900K. Yeah, you're a little discouraged, but that's the stock market. It'll come back. Then it starts coming back again. Now he's back up to like 950, right? He's got 950K into his account. He's down about $50,000. So nothing too crazy. He knew it. He was right. He's all good. But what happens there is everybody who didn't sell on this first move, on this first, like, where do I get out? Didn't give me any pivots, nothing like that. Some people are taking profits. It's coming back on this wave up higher. Whoever didn't sell up that original high point, they're going to want to say, okay, no, you know what? Market's giving me some more money. Let me take it. I'm going to lock my profits now. That causes some additional selling, right? So this is our first wave down. This was our second wave up higher. And now, how do you feel this guy who made his assessment, put $1 million into the stock feels on this wave? This is where you got all the shorts coming in. This is where you got anybody that is bullish, they start taking their profits. Wave 3 is always your biggest wave. So that's the easiest point to identify. Right. And now this guy's like, oh man, I don't know. I've read this chart wrong. The stock market got me. It is what it is. Right. And that's going to cause some panic. And his account's now at what, 700K? Right. He's down a lot. He's not feeling too great. When he entered the trade, his thought process was, how much money can I make on this trade? Now his thought process shifts, right? He's like, okay, I'm down a lot. That was a bad trade. How do I get out of this position for the least amount of loss possible? Right. So now you're down a lot. Obviously, this thing was still bullish. There's going to be some buyers coming in trying to bottom feed and try to be like, hey, I'm going to pick a bottom on the stock. Right. That's going to cause a little bit of a balance. But this guy right here, again, he's not thinking about, I'm sitting through this entire thing. I'm still down a lot. But now as the buyers come in, because the price is a lot lower than it was before, this guy is saying, the market's giving me an opportunity to finally get out of this thing. Let me take my less of a loss and I'll reassess the position. Right. So now he's trying to clear out of this thing, and anybody else is trying to clear out. That's going to start causing a little bit more selling. Right. And wave 5. So this one here was wave 4. This is wave 5. Wave 5 is these people who were stuck in the position trying to clear out. They're pulling back. And now it's either double bottom. Wave 5 could be a new lower low, but they're now trying to get into this position. Some new people saying, hey, this is a heck of a lot better price than up here when Mr. Millionaire started to buy his position. Right. And then you got, okay, well, can we go higher from here? Can we go lower? This part is the ABC. This is more or less some kind of indecision. It could look like a little like triangle. It could just be one candle, 2 candles, but you want to see some kind of just hesitation down here, some kind of build a little stability, some kind of support resistance. And then that's where it doesn't have to reverse, but that's going to be the spot where it probably is a good risk to reward to reverse a position here. Right. So that's the wave count theory. So just that everything kind of moves in a 5-wave count. So typically, if you see like this big sell-off, you don't want to be the first one in this thing, even though you're like, wow, this thing dropped a lot. I want to just buy it. You typically do not want to be the first guy to buy this, because usually what happens is anybody who is stuck in this trade, as this thing kind of rotates higher, typically will pull back. Then you wait for that double bottom. Then that's when you're like, okay, now I want my play in this. All right. Did that make sense? Did that help anybody? Are we playing pre-market gaps? Yeah, typically in the morning, I'm looking for any type of gap. Yep. So a lot of the Elliott wave goes into more of the psychological of how people just kind of act in the stock market. Gene says it helps. That helped. Good. Awesome. Beautiful. What happens to our 14-day trial if it expires during the free week? You will, if you don't cancel, you'll still get charged, because it's just gonna renew for the month. But if you cancel, then you just have to re-register for free week, and then you could, I guess, re-sign up on Monday. I guess. AMD 10 EMA short. Let me check out AMD. Well, let's take a look at this one. We just kind of covered this, so let's pull it up. Again, we were thinking long in the beginning of the day. We're not sure what's going on with this market, but here is, and I'm going to keep this thing zoomed out just so we can see the overall pattern, because the candle doesn't matter too much. We definitely have a good little support here. Right. So there could be some interested buyers coming in here. They did it before. Right. And we just got a little bit of bounce off this thing. Now let's zoom into these candles a little bit more into just today. But we know we're on a daily basis, a little bit longer time frame. We do have good support. Let's look at those wave counts. Right. Here, I think we have our first little drop. This guy just put $1 million into the account right here on this trade because he loved it. It's AMD. It's not going to go lower. Okay, he didn't get the best price. There's our first pullback. Okay, he's not really too worried yet. See, I told you we were good. We were good. It's a green candle, all set. I think this is our wave 2. Now on this pullback, I think this is our wave 3. And so if you want to play a 10 EMA, I see what you're looking for, but it's sold off a lot already. I think this is probably some type of wave. And this still could just be inside candles. So this could continue for wave 3. We'll have to see. Otherwise, there's maybe a little pivot in here. We'll see if this one wants to pick up a little more though, and just kind of continue that wave 3. Because we have a little tiny rotation, but it's not really what I'm looking for. So I think if we get a little bit of a bounce first, that would make sense for that to be the 4, and then we get one more pullback for the 5. So while I think you could get it, if you're going to short it, I would try it a little bit higher, personally. But then again, consider the risk to reward too. So if you're trading, you want to win more than you lose, right? So if this thing pulls back one more time, like I don't know what that wave 5 is going to look like. So I don't know if this is going to be a new higher low. I don't know if this is going to just double bottom or if we do get that one last breakthrough. But I would be looking to go long for me on AMD after we get one more kind of pullback, right? And then we can talk about fibs too if you guys want, but let's put a Fibonacci on this thing. So this is really the top of this move, and let's say this is the bottom. Looking at maybe if you're gonna try the short, I think we could probably get into this range right here, somewhere around this 113.53. This is a 50% retracement of this big disaster drop, or we could even hit that 618, which is 113.71. So anywhere in this location, if you miss that first bearish move, there's probably some additional bears trying to come in and play this thing bearish. So I would be looking for this range. You also got the VWAP up here too. So somewhere up here is a better spot to short. But again, I think this would be creating wave 4, and then you got that one more new lower low. Again, I don't know if it's double bottom or not. Makes sense? SPY catching some bids. Let's count the wave real quick. There's your 1. There's your 2. This could be your 3. This is your 4. We probably get a double bottom somewhere like that. So I'm not too excited to go bullish yet. I would love to see this thing pull back, then maybe double bottom. And then I think if we're going to go, that would be the spot to do it. VWAP is your weighted volume average. So you could go into your, I don't know what broker you're using, but you could go into your broker that would, every broker should have it. TradingView has it as well. But just type in VWAP, which is VWAP. Basically what it is they're taking the average of the volume per price. So a lot of traders will look at, let's go through like this. Let's put it like this. Personally, I think the 10 EMA, the 20, the 30, the 40, the 50, the 200, I think they serve a purpose, but they're all garbage. Every single one of them. Only because they are reactive indicators, right? They're only telling you, any of those moving averages are telling you where the price has been, but it's not telling you, it's not predicting where the stock is going to go, right? If you have 100 EMA, no matter what time, let's say it's on the daily, and you're using the 100 EMA, that EMA is just giving you the average price of that stock over the last 100 candles, right? So that's great that we know where that has been, but that doesn't help us with trading, right? The VWAP is giving you the weighted price per volume. So this one is actually moving based off of where actual money comes into the market, and that will give you a good idea on strength or weakness. So a lot of times people will look at the VWAP, and I know we're just kind of answering questions right now. I'm just waiting for the market to sit up. So if I see something, or if you guys see something, let me know. I'll be happy to trade it. But we'll just continue to go through this. A lot of people will look at the VWAP and say, great, if we're above the VWAP, that's showing that there's signs of strength. If we're below the VWAP, that's going to show us there's signs of weakness, right? It's a little bit weaker than where it's at. People will look at the VWAP for bounce spot. So for instance, let me see, right here on Nvidia. This is going to be an important candle coming in on Nvidia because we're right at that VWAP. Right? So we've sold. Where's my pen thing? We sold, we came back. This should be a rejection spot on Nvidia. People might look to take profits into that VWAP and kind of create that next wave. And then if that's the case, great. But if we start to break through it, okay, we have a little bit more strength. So if anybody saw this hammer coming in, they're at least probably shaving a couple shares here, if not exiting their position. And then you would think there could be some kind of a bounce. If that bounce doesn't happen, we start closing above that VWAP. You'll start to get probably a little bit more strength in it. Every indicator is lagging. Yes and no. Most indicators are. I would use the volume profile, except volume. Yep. Volume profile and the VWAP. That's telling you exactly where people are putting their money in, who's at risk, at what positions, at what price, at what time frame. Those ones will kind of give you much better support resistance. And again, I don't think you should dismiss the 50 EMA, the 100 EMA, the 200. Those are going to be fueled because everybody else has those on their screen, right? So just a powers by number thing, where if you're like, hey, we're at the 100, just because you know everybody else is looking at it, someone's probably going to be using that as their target, right? What indicators do you have on TOS 3 minute? This is I have only the VWAP and the 10, essentially. Mm-hmm. So this yellow line, I don't even think I have the 10 over here. This yellow line is the 10 EMA. This one's the VWAP, and those are the kind of derivatives off of it, which is the standard when you put the VWAP on. I think I missed some. We could absolutely stay bearish on daily, especially. I'm just making sure I didn't miss any. I'm just seeing if I missed any comments. By the way, if I do miss your your comment, there's a lot of you guys in here. I'm not ignoring you, I promise. Just retype it if I missed it, because the chat will just move by itself, and then I have to scroll all the way back. All right, so Tesla Gate, same thing. I'm waiting on Tesla. Let me just see if we broke through some kind of support on this one or not. If we're below the support, then this would be your spot to go short. 264.72. We can break this 264.72. Again, we can get down to the low of the day. And then final target on this one will be about 261.86. If that one breaks and Tesla's looking at 256.85, that could be bearish. But that's a lot of selling. Rejection off VWAP. I'm going to give it a second. Bank C looks like it's pennant pattern. Palantir still doing nice. Again, just too slow on that trade. How long should we wait before taking a trade? That's up to you and your plan. It's also, I would say, dependent on how long you've been trading, what kind of personality you have, what is your risk tolerance. I think all of that will play into that. I typically take trades right out of the gate if I see it. We tried on Palantir, I didn't see nothing. So now I'm just kind of waiting for the market to just kind of give me the setup that I want. But I am for me, I'm comfortable trading right from the beginning of the day. I know some traders, they'll wait 15 minutes, just shake out some of the extreme volatility in both directions. But I just don't see anything like I'm in love with yet. I don't really have a clear direction from the market. I think the market could still pull back one more time. So like I'd almost want to go short here. Give me a double bottom, one new lower low, something like that, and then maybe look for possible reversal on the day. There's the Tesla rejections. Again, I'm like Tesla kind of looks a little bit more to the bearish side. But my question is how much more bearish? Like there's the rejection off the VWAP. This is where we had a first little reversal. So I think some bulls are going to try to probably pop in there. Stops down here. So I think we're probably pulling back. I don't know how far we pull back on Tesla. Let me see. We trade the. Did I miss a bill comment? Where's Bill's? If so, the 10 is garbage. Why do you have it on your chart? Yeah. So the 10 EMA. There's a trading strategy that we'll use, which is the 10 EMA. Basically, that's giving us if we're breaking. Well, let's go through the strategy. I think on your dashboard there's actually a PDF or breakdown of the 10 EMA strategy. But yeah, so we do trade a 10 EMA strategy. So let's look at this one on Tesla real quick. Again, any strategy, just location's the most important thing, right? But here could be a bearish 10 EMA play on Tesla. I don't know if I want to take it just because there's support on the daily right below us. But this yellow candle here is my 10 EMA, right? So what we look to do with the 10 EMA strategy that we use at RLT, if this candle closes, so this is telling us, okay, there's bearish sentiment. We did get rejected. Do I want to take this one? I don't know. I might be talking myself into a trade right now. But this is telling us, okay, we got below that 10. So on a short time frame, we're bullish. I mean, we're bearish, right? There's a little bit more bearish sentiment. Now we're waiting for this green candle to come in. We want somebody to be buying into this VWAP, but we need this candle to close below the 10, right? If that happens and looks exactly how it is now, by the time this candle closes, we're looking to go bearish below that candle. Anybody know why? Anybody know why we want to go bearish below that candle? Nobody knows? Yeah, we're trapping a little bit more bulls, right? So the bulls are like, okay, we pulled back, we're retesting. If we could get in below this candle, providing that this candle closes below the 10, if it closes like where it's at now, there would be no trade, right? But if it closes below the 10, it's still kind of weak. There was some bulls that were trapping a little bit more bulls on this thing, and then this thing comes down. You'd want to get triggered, great. And then if it never breaks where the bulls came in to buy, that means it's going higher, and you just don't get triggered on that trade. Typically, with that type of setup, you're looking for like a 1.2 Rs or a 1.4. But again, depends on location. So not every play. Just be careful. All right. SPY is trying. We still got all those moving averages. We still got VWAP. We got to climb through. We're above it now. Meta? I think somebody wanted square. Who was that? Who wanted square? Derek. You at least had a little bit risk to reward for me. No. Right. I'll speak to my plan. No, for me. The reason why I don't think this thing really pulled back enough to give me good risk reward. If we think about what trading is, I mean, it's not how do you pick the perfect entry, how do you pick the perfect stop, and after all trading is risk to reward, right? If I buy something, I want to sell it to somebody else for a higher price, and I want to be able to put the potential reward at a greater unit than my unit for the risk. So right now, there's still a lot more bulls in this thing that are profitable on this trade. So I would like this one to come down a little bit further. I don't want to go bearish on it. It's a nice breakout candle. So I don't want to play it to the downside, but I'd want this thing to drop probably to at least $80.23. That to me looks like the 50% retracement, and then somewhere around the 79.99. That would be a 618 retracement. So I would like this thing down a little bit further. Otherwise, there's still a lot of people in this thing bullish that are profitable, and I'm just buying their profits essentially. So I like this little consolidation down here. It's just it didn't pull back far enough for me to want to get in. Joe says momentum. Yep, 10 EMA is a momentum play. Stand by it, maybe going down further. I'd like it to go down further because then that will give us a setup on it. Palantir, what a miss. Oh, that was so gross. What were we? 20 seconds too late? Maybe less. I think I was halfway typing it in Slack. We just could not get it out there. All right. Bobo chilling. Let's take a look at JD. I think some of you guys were playing JD, so this one kind of pulled back. So this one might be interesting. Obviously, there's some bullish sentiment for the last couple days. This pullback, this is the 618. There's your VWAP. I don't know if I see the wave count that I like, but if we could get into this thing, maybe somewhere around 40, this should be the bounce spot, 41, 42. We could probably put stops of 40.97. $42.77 would be 1 hour. This should be the bounce spot. Hold on, I might take this personal day trade JD 41.42 by 40.97. Is that what I said? All right, let me see if I can get this one real quick. Slack. JD.com. $41.42. $41.42. And I think this is an okay setup, so be careful with it. I like the location down here. Wave count is where I'm having an issue with. So this is only a 1, 2. This I think could be a 3, maybe 4, 5. So I don't like the wave count aspect of it. I like the location a lot. This gives me good risk to reward. And where our entry would be above that VWAP as well. So if there's a spot to buy JD, if it continues, this would be it. Maybe a bullish 10 EMA on Tesla could be coming in again. We held that support, which is decent. I still kind of think the SPY pulls back a little bit before we just rally at home. I don't know. Those stops are tight. Though that's my trade. That's my trade. You're more than welcome to adapt a trade. Nobody actually has to take a trade. You make your own decisions. I would say if you're also newer to trading, there's no reason you can't put your stop down at $40.70. Right? Because worst case, again, it's not how much money you make, it's about how much money you don't lose. For me, I'm comfortable with the risk. If this thing comes back down here, drops immediately, so be it. I lose the R. Because I know that the market's still open for the rest of the day. I know I'll be able to make it back. So it's not, whether it's today, maybe I don't see anything, and tomorrow's gives me a better setup, and I'll make it back. But by me taking this trade, yeah, there's not a lot of room. I could move my stops unless we get some breaks above this entry, which is then where we get filled. We come back, we retest. That should get my stop up probably to, I don't know, 41.25. Now I have less than an R of risk on the table, right? But if you want to go a little wider on your stops, I mean, just have the appropriate shares for your type of trade. Then, I mean, essentially, almost after you get into this thing, you could pretty much quickly move your stops up to here below those tweezers, which is where I have mine. Now you automatically have less than an R of risk on the table. So I see it. Louis says, or paper trade. Yep, those are good too. If you think about it, you guys have your entire life to trade. Like, that's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. You don't have to jump into anything. If you are very new to trading, I would say paper trade. I would say back trade. I would say learn your setup. Make sure you have an actual, like, written down trading plan. There's some sample plans on your dashboard at RLT as well. Check those out. Don't just have a trading plan in your head, because then oftentimes details get skipped. Print it out. Post it on your refrigerator. Post it on your wall. Post it on your computer. Because that's your business, right? Trading, whether it's your full-time thing or you're doing it on the side for extra income, treat it as a business. All right, I just got filled on JD, so we'll see. Just got to fill. I'm gonna throw my stops out there. I'm gonna look for targets. Again, do I know if this trade is gonna work? No, I have zero idea. In fact, I would like to assume it doesn't, to be honest. Makes me less sad if it doesn't. 41. So we got 40.97. All right, let me look for targets. Rock, you with me? All right, so let me see. We're gonna need to close above that VWAP. Let me see where targets could be. So for 2 Rs, we would need 42.32. JD. We got to get above that VWAP though. That's gonna be the issue. And I think there's still this one little wave count in there that's still has to come in. Where can we get to? 41.83 looks like a decent target. We already got there once, so if we can get back there again. All right, I'm gonna go with 42.32 as my target. But I will need this close. I do need a close above. Why is this not working? Screen. So target is 42.32. This is target entry. We got in at 41.42. Bullish entry. Stop is, I got 40.97. Stop. All right. This off the screen. And copy link. I'll paste the link in this chat too, so if you guys want to check it out. Copy link, good, paste. That's the trade. Let me throw that into Slack as well. Paste. All right, cool. So that's set up. We'll see what happens on it. Again, I like the location, but we do got to get above that VWAP. So we'll see. W is about to pop. Let's take a look at that one. SoFi still looks like it's hanging in there. Little double topish. Yeah, if it's giving you a little red candle. Kind of looking flat though. A little tad bit flat. In a longer picture, I'd be interested in maybe 75.28 if it pulls back there. See if it could hold that. Again, the SPY isn't really. I mean, we're positive on the SPY, so in that way we're bullish, but we're not breaking out of any of the resistance. We are still kind of hanging into some of the supports in the SPY, but so far, relatively speaking, it's kind of a flat day. So we'll see. Tesla's trying to pull back a little bit. Bearish engulfing candle. We'll see if that one closes below the 10, below the VWAP. 10 EMA on coin worked out this morning. You played Coinbase. Let's see, which one did you play though? Did you play 97.22 or did you hop in? You might have played that one. That one still could have worked. All right, so far JD is not giving us the close above the VWAP. We're still in this high wave indecision candle. You do have the bears. So again, I was looking for this to come in. All right, so maybe we're just a little too early. We'll see. But I do like this location on JD. Martin says, "What is Slack?" Yeah, so when you have all for the free week, you guys don't have Slack included with it. But it's basically when you have all access pass, you will have Slack, so you'll have your own kind of Slack account. That is, I think Microsoft owns it now. Actually, I think they bought them out, but it's just essentially a way to communicate with each other, with the traders. We post all of the official trades in there. Any of the traders with RLT could post charts, could ask questions. We have different individual channels, so people are interested in different things. Like, hey, I think we have one for cars. I think we got one for new technology stuff. I think we got one for gardening. So there's different channels just with people with same interests could hang out, chat in there as well. But then we have, again, all of the official trades that we take. We'll put it into Slack so traders get kind of notified what we're doing, can take a look at the charts, things like that. Yeah. Yep, Tracy's also answering. Tracy, you're on host and panelist. Just FYI. Slack. Hector says Slack is a bunch of amazing people sharing love. Well, you worded that better than I did. I did take the trade. I'm the rock holding it down. Not yet. Still. You talking, Greg? You're talking about your JD with me. Who else is in JD? Anybody else in JD? Rhonda. Okay. Me and Rhonda. We got me, Rhonda, Greg, Nancy, Bill, Jolene, Rock. Hector's in. All right. Win is in. Or just likes the number 1. I'm not sure exactly, but I think that means you're in, Win. I think we're good. So this is the little pullback that we needed. And again, I'm not sure if this one's over on the SPY yet or not. But this is definitely that last little pullback. We could get down a little bit lower, so it's not necessarily over here. If we do start rotating from here, though, this would be a double bottom with higher lows. So that would be very interesting. Walt is in JD. Terry is short on AMD. That one's breaking down. So there's a wave 5, I think. Good volume just came in on a candle. Nice breakdown. Breakdown. And not great for your Q's put swing. It's tough to be a bear. Like last year, man, bears were strutting their stuff out there. Nothing could keep the bears down last year. This year, oof. Anybody calling tops in this market, absolutely getting clobbered. But we'll see. Yep. I mean, I've right now I'm not short anything in the market for me, but every now and then I'm like, that kind of looks topish. That looks decent. And I'll buy like some puts, but more for not a play, more for protection of the overall long term, which later today we'll be talking some more long term stuff. We'll go over kind of how I set up the long term. So that's going to be 4 to 5 Eastern today. If anybody wants to join, I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be hanging out. And like I said, after this, I think 12 noon, Johnny comes in. If you guys don't know who Johnny Gorko is, he's a living legend. So make sure you guys stay tuned to him, just wealth of knowledge. And he'll continue to go over the markets. I guarantee you'll learn at least something from Johnny. At least something. Bill says, Johnny. Anil says, Johnny from Rocky. Now you thinking Stella. I think you think he's like, Stella. Johnny from Rocky. Was there a Johnny in there? I don't remember Johnny in Rocky. I don't know. I'm gonna have to watch a movie again. Mike says no. I don't know. Anil watched the bootleg one probably. We watched the bootleg. It was like a recreation. And they're like, Johnny. I don't know. Oh, yeah. I was thinking it could have been maybe it's Rocky and Bullwinkle. I don't know if there's a John. I don't think I've really ever watched that show though. To be honest, I know who they are, but yeah, I never watched that show. I don't think. All right, JD is just kind of flat. We'll see if there's anything else out there for now, but it's not dropping. It's not moving. Nothing exciting yet, which is still okay. Sideways action doesn't necessarily mean bad, but I have to wait on this one. And again, 618 is 41.23. So again, that's the spot that I still want this thing to hold. Otherwise, most likely we just get hosed on the trade, which I'm looking for a spot we could get stops, but we're still in the zone. I can't really do anything with stops yet. Tesla has a little bit of a double bottom. Again, we do have to break through the 10. We got to break through the VWAP. We do have very good support on Tesla down here. And this was a little bit of a pullback. SPY is trying to get back above the moving averages and the VWAP. And JD is just kind of still hanging out, so nothing crazy there. Palantir, a little bit of a pullback there. AMD, so again, I think that was probably wave 5. AMD does have a strong ability to whip traders back and forth real quick before it actually makes its move. But I do think this is probably a solid wave 5 on AMD. So if we get some kind of pullback, some kind of new candle with volume, I might be looking to go long there. Again, day trade, they do have earnings tomorrow, so I'm not talking swing trade. Don't try not to confuse people on that. 5-minute hammer candle on AMD. Yeah, there's also one on the 3-minute too. I like to give AMD one more little benefit of the doubt before I hop in that one. And again, I'd want to make at least an R. So the VWAP, that could be a strong rejection spot too for really for any stock, right? So in my plan, typically I'm looking for a decent risk to reward, and I want to be able to make at least an R into the VWAP because that could definitely be a rejection spot, and I want to be able to make money into it. And then if it breaks through, great. We're looking to run that trade home. But yeah, give me like another red candle or something on AMD. Somebody was in there short though. Was that David? Somebody was in that AMD short. Terry. It was Terry. All right, so never mind. It's definitely not bullish. Don't worry about it. You good. You good. But I'll start moving your stops a little bit, Terry, just in case. So far, you're in the right trend though. All right, we're getting an interesting little hammer on JD. Ron, is it on SoFi? You got in 11:21. All right, trying to go for round 2 on the squeeze. 11:21. And you already got your stop in the green. You can't lose now. That looks good. Beautiful. Mike says I'm stalking 2. Mike, you're stalking SoFi or AMD? AMD. Yep. Yeah, I want to see, just because I'm familiar with AMD, I want to see like one more crazy drop or something. But yeah, I think it's almost time to start looking at AMD in the long direction. And again, the market, since we've been open in this market, and just, I mean, for you guys joining us on Free Week, this is a very slow day for me. This is a very slow day. I mean, I did have, let's see how many official trades I attempted to put out there, but we canceled a bunch. I had one on Wayfair I was looking at, canceled that one. Palantir was just too slow. That's 2. We tried to set up an AMD, that was 3. And I finally got filled on 4. But when the market is just kind of flat like this, it's like, he usually has 4 trades by 11 a.m. I know this is a slow one. It's a slow day today. But if JD wants to wake up and start popping and get back above that VWAP, and if I just hit 1 trade and that's all the market's giving me today, I'm good with that too. So again, all the money does not have to come in one day. So you plan to place your trades on pre-market, you're asking? Am I saying your name right, Ivo? Am I even in the ballpark? Is that close? I got it. Oof. All right, awesome. Pre-market, and that's a very good question. The answer is no. I don't plan all my trades pre-market. Things happen throughout the day. Some things are moving differently. Some things look like they're about to break out, and we can take a trade. Pre-market, I'm looking for what we could do, what stocks are of interest of people for that day, who's being trapped in trades, because that's going to cause, once people get trapped, I mean, they have their money they worked hard for on the line. They're going to make some kind of emotional decision, whether it's good or bad. Like, even if it gaps up and there's a lot of people that were just buying it the day before, somebody just woke up with more money in their pocket than they went to sleep with. Right. So I want to look for high chances of people getting trapped to play it in the morning. I'm looking for maybe if there's a news catalyst, earnings just came out, there's, I don't know, Elon tweets something or whatever the case. Just give me some reason of why other traders might be looking at, because that's where the volume comes in. That's where, but especially if people get trapped on trades. So that I'm looking for in the morning. And then if I could get a good setup from the morning analysis, great. Otherwise, like SoFi, we talked about this morning, right? So we've been watching it. Ron's in it now. Maybe a couple other traders might be in there. Palantir, we talked about. So there's going to be some interest throughout the day on some of those stocks, but I'm not limited to those stocks. 4 hours for that. I know. Cindy knows this is a slow ski today. Pre-market was low volume. Tesla, I believe, is also inside day too. Yeah, so Tesla inside day could get a little choppy, and I mean the volume could dry up a little on that until we actually start breaking out of a support or resistance. What's the deal with Roku? It took off after earnings. I don't know. I hate Roku. I can never even if I see a great setup, it just skips me. It doesn't take me in. Yeah. What's the deal with Roku? Took off after earnings. The earnings were I believe the earnings number one, they had 2 things, I think. So they had the earnings, which I think they had a surprise beat on earnings. So earnings looked decent. And then I think they just had some kind of, did they do a deal with Dish or Amazon or something? They just had a deal come out with somebody as well. So there was a little news after the earnings as well. Of course, it's slow. It's free week. The good news is, if they're going to give me a slow day today, that's good. Everybody ask as many questions as humanly possible. Let me know what I could cover for you, because the market is going to allow for me to babble on for as long as possible today, it seems like. You got to watch Tesla here. Tesla could be interesting. I like this little bit of, it's putting in higher lows, higher highs. My question is, how far does Tesla actually get today? We have, I think there's 2,800 companies reporting earnings this week. So there's going to be a lot of good opportunities. Big earnings week. Netflix is looking good. Let me see Netflix. Yeah, that one's still powerhouse. And let me get targets on Netflix on the daily. Found a nice little support somewhere around 412.78. That was quite the gap and go that Netflix had, though. So this could all be a retest. And I don't know if it hits it today, but 441.42, I think there's going to be a lot of short interest. A lot of people might be looking for Netflix short around that zone. Because that was a pretty traumatic gap and go on the daily. But yeah, for today, it looks like it's got that momentum to carry higher. My thoughts on Lucid, Rivian, PGY. Well, I'm normally a swinger, but your day take for these, for day trades. Okay, got you. For long term, I don't like Lucid or Rivian, especially Rivian. They spend more money than I've ever seen anybody be able to spend ever. So long term, yeah, I personally don't like them. For day trades, though, let me see Lucid. We'll pull these ones up on the. Let's review these together on TradingView. Let's switch the screen. LCID. All right, so let's see what target could be today. What resistance is actually coming in? 774 could be resistance. We've already hit that once today. Otherwise, the next real target on this thing where we could get some resistance is 791. Right, so I don't know if we get back to 774, what happens at that point. We already did get rejected there once, and I'm using this little VPOC for that. That was a rejection area. So do I think Lucid's strong enough, if we could get up there again, for that to break? If the answer to that is yes, if you guys think that's a yes, then the next target probably takes us to about 790, and now you probably have a better risk reward. If your answer is no, then you probably don't get very good risk reward if you were to hop in here, right? So that's number one. Nobody knows what's going to happen if we do get back up there, right? But I would say that's been a resistance today. Probably looking maybe future on especially if you're a swing trader, I'd be looking for a 791 and then probably 817, something like that. Now let's go into a daily time frame or intraday. Looks to me like we have a little bit of a head and shoulders forming, which means I probably can't get in. If I want to play this thing bullish, 768 would be where I'd have to be looking. I'd want the bulls to be able to break out of this candle. And we have not done that yet. This looks to me a little bit head and shouldery, which is left shoulder. There's the head, there's the right shoulder. And then neckline becomes somewhere about here. This looks like we just retested into that neckline. And we probably come down short. Again, how far? I don't know. I would think down to this, retest this hammer. So I'd probably either go short into here, take some shares off, or if you do want to go in long, this was a spot that support held. There might be some more bulls just trying to buy it up to here, but I think you're probably only going to get it that far in this one, if that makes sense. Let me just see. JD's starting to work, so maybe we can move stops a little bit on it. Let me cover. Stefford says, was there any news on PayPal today? Square looked kind of strong too. PayPal. Let's go to the daily. Looks like they got earnings coming up too. What day is their earnings? They got it on Wednesday. Rocket Company's name is volatility. I don't really see anything crucial to PayPal besides where this thing opened. So it might be moving more on a technical basis than anything else. It was a great gap. All of the people that were in here on Thursday going short in the wrong, not the long direction. If they were in long, they would be happy, but they were wrong. Big, massive uptrend. Probably some people were looking at this as maybe a double top, big pullback, trying to get short inside day Friday. So again, some people might be losing if you're short on Friday, but you're still not wrong. You just got into the position. Your analysis is still correct. You don't have to worry about it. This day, everybody in here is trapped. You now know, okay, I'm pretty much wrong. If they were shorting, they have to buy back shares, which means that that stock is probably going to go higher. And then anybody who could recognize that those shorts are kind of trapped, they're going to tackle onto the bullish side and play that trend up. So targets could be 77.52, but yeah, on a technical basis, it looks decent. But yeah, earnings come out in 2 days on that one. All right, let me flip back to TOS just to see if we can make a stop move on JD. JD.com. JD, 3 minutes. All right. So we're back above the VWAP, which is good. We need to hit 42.32 for 2 Rs. I think we get a little bit of resistance going to come in around 41.82. So really we want a candle to break and close above 41.82 for JD. I'm going to move my stops up into this 618, which is 41.22. So we'll take some risk off the table. So new stop on this one. 41.22. Let me change that in my broker as well. Order status. $41.22. All right. So that's updated again. I'll type it here for you guys too. Stop update on JD 41.22. Now, do I think I'm going to win on this trade? No idea. We still have our stops below entry, so we're still risking. We still could lose on this trade. But trading is not about making money. It's about losing, right? If I can control my losses on trades, there's a highly likely possibility that I will be a profitable trader. Right. So now I'm going to let it do its work. I do think around this, what did I say? 41.87, I think was the zone. 41.82. So I think somewhere around there, we probably get our first rejection, but it's not looking bad yet. Right. So maybe some bulls or some of these bulls might want to take some profits in that zone. I can see that happening. But we are back above VWAP. So the trend continues. I'm expecting some kind of pullback on this one. But those pullbacks, especially if we get bulls to buy that up, should give us new spots to move out stops, and then again take as much risk off the table as possible until hopefully we can get this to a stop that is above our break even spot. Make sense? And then even if this thing just news comes out on JD at this point, or it just collapses or whatever the case, yeah, okay, I didn't lock in any gains and I still took a loss, but I'm risking what, half an R maybe on this one. So now my next trade, wherever that wants to set up for me in the market, I mean, even if I get a 1.2 on the next trade, not only am I positive between the two trades, even though this could be a losing one, but if I hit a 1.2, now I'm in the green after two trades, and that means I was a 50% trader. Means I was wrong on one, right on one. Right? Not saying again that I'm losing. I'm just kind of preparing for worst case scenario. But it's about just, can you get your stops up? Can you risk less than an R on your trade? And then again, I'm going to let this thing run. We'll see if we hit targets. But I do expect maybe a little pullback in a couple pennies. We'll see. Could you please show us your color? Yeah, sure. Let me get back to trading view. So my settings, oops. So I'll leave this up here for a second. You guys can see the, I believe you should be able to see this. But I have, for inputs, it's all 930 to 1600. We got up, down, 70, number of, the row layout is number, row size is 24. I don't have any of those things clicked. For style, I got this. So volume profile box is clicked. Values I have is great. The width percentage is 30. Placements to the left, up volume, those are those colors. And then I do have developing VPOC clicked. So I got that one on. I guess that's like a yellow orange. I'm going to go fiery orange. I don't know exactly what color. And then the POC itself is red. That's the one that shows the daily. And the current VPOC as well. And then this I didn't make any changes to, so this should all be standard. Burnt orange. Yeah, I can see a burnt orange. Yeah, I agree. Anytime we get past the Crayola 8, I get confused on colors, so I never know what they're called. But this again, so this one is pointing out our developing VPOC. So this is where I came in with, okay, probably resistance comes in right around here, 41.82. This is where it rejected from last time. So this all could still be a retest into here. I don't know. But I would say this is a good spot to take partials. This is a good spot to maybe get out of the position. I'm not at my target yet, so I'm not going to do that. My target's up here. So I think we get a little pullback. I'm expecting this to happen. Then we get back up here again. Hopefully we can we have a nice little kind of double bottom-ish on the chart. So whoever is taking profits there, I want to see the bulls come in, buy that thing up, and then my next stop move should be, hopefully we get stops into the profit zone. A quick explanation of SVP. Yeah, and also I know Tracy's here. Tracy, are you gonna do, and if not, I think you should plan it on Tuesday when you're on the mic. Are you gonna do a kind of a refresher on session volume profile? Wednesday. Okay. So Wednesday, check the calendar. I'm guessing 3 to 4 Eastern. Oh, 4 to 5 Eastern. Tracy is absolutely phenomenal. Somebody asked about the paid courses being included in All Access Pass. One of those premium classes is session volume profile, taught by Tracy herself. So while that class might not be free, All Access Pass is, and Tracy is doing a full class on session volume profile, so she'll help answer questions, go through the basics, things like that. Essentially, though, just to give it a quick elevator pitch, essentially it's the volume profile right now is this red line down here, right here. This is currently the highest volume, the highest amount of shares traded throughout today's session at that price. That's where it came in. So for every seller in the market, right? If you sell a stock, well, you're selling it to somebody, right? So that means somebody's on the other side that has to buy it. Okay, so we don't know if that volume is bullish or bearish. There's really no such thing as bullish bearish. What determines the price of the stock is where people are buying it. You want a class? That is a class on Wednesday. Yeah, definitely be there for that. So again, we don't know which way we're pushing. Now we kind of know that it was more people interested in the bullish side, bidding the price up. That's what affects the how the stock moves, right? We know there's some more people bullish than bearish because that's where the volume came in and the stock was able to go higher. It means people businessing higher, right? We know that we got up here before on JD. This is the developing VPOC. We did have a VPOC here once before, right? But the bears were actually strong enough to bring this thing down. And some of the bulls that got in here, they were looking to take profits. So that's why, okay, if the bears, whoever came in bearish, if you're still in this thing bearish, well, guess where you're probably putting your stops to get out? Probably somewhere right around there, break even, maybe take some profits right before. But somewhere in this zone is where there's a lot of people. There was a high volume area right here, and those ones were a little bit more bearish than bullish at this price point, right? So this is where my resistance is probably going to be. This is where I expect some of those bears to start clearing out some of those positions. This is where I think bulls might be a little concerned and they might take profits. So that's why I'm kind of planning on, again, I don't know what happens. I would love to see this thing break through. And now this is going to be our support as opposed to a resistance if we get it. But I'm kind of banking on this happening. We might even get back down to break even. Who knows? And then I'm looking for, based on the daily chart, based on the breakout, I think there's still a lot of people trying to buy dips on JD. So I am waiting for the bulls to try to see if we can get a little bit higher on this one. Chris says, so the SVP and VWAP are your main tools. That's what I'm looking at the most. Yep. And again, there's a million and a half strategies out there, right? We have the 10 EMA that we'll use a lot. I'm sure Johnny will reference it, or at least probably go into more detail on it during his time frame. But we use a 10 EMA, right? Essentially, we kind of went over this a little bit, but this is a strategy, right? There's a ton of strategies out there that each moderator on the mic will use throughout the week. There's a ton of strategies on YouTube, and I'm sure that they're all like, yeah, we got the greatest strategy ever. All the strategy is giving you is a pretty much defined set of rules as to when you could get in, why you could get in, where's your stop, and how do you take targets? Like how long do you let things run for? They're all valuable if you're putting it in the right location, right? So the question is, where's the right location? So that's where I want to know who's profitable on a trade, who's not profitable, where other people deem a certain price to be interesting. That session volume profile is giving me that zone for, okay, I like it because of this is this. Now, how do I get in? What strategy do I want to use around it? But any of the volume is really giving me that location. And if you could apply any strategy to the right location, I would go out on a ledge and say that your odds of a winning trade is going to be much higher no matter what strategy you're applying. Yep. Volume profile is not a strategy, correct? Yep. So this is giving me like the zone. Let's put it that way. It's giving me the zone. But if you're in the right zone and you know how to use the volume to locate a good location, then applying any strategy to it or how you want to set up your trade, it's going to increase the odds that trade is correct. You can still absolutely lose on a trade, but you have a better shot, right? You have a better risk reward. Cindy says, how many traders have gotten funded accounts using only the 10 EMA strat? I have no idea. I don't even know how I would go about finding that out. Unless I surveyed every single person. Yeah, I have no idea. No clue. Hector says, okay, I'm back. Do we hit 4 Rs yet? No, still grasping at the exciting cusp of this JD move. It's working. Bill says a lot. Yeah. I couldn't even I couldn't even tell you. Could not even tell you. No clue. Let me go back to TOS. We'll see what else is moving. We should send a survey out, maybe. All right. So again, this is a pullback. We could take this fib off and recreate a new one for a smaller time frame. That should be fun and exciting. The move essentially started here. So where would a healthy pullback be on this one? Bullish break, probably into this 41-47 zone. Well, if we get the bounce at 41-47 and it starts to rotate, right now we're at the 50% retracement. So this is a slight little pullback, decent risk to reward. If I was looking to enter this thing bullish again, which again, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. I still don't know. But probably around this 41-47 would be a decent buy spot. You got VWAP to support you. And then you're probably putting your stops where else stops are currently. But still all healthy pullback. Tesla's still kind of hanging out. Everything is still kind of just flat-ish. Disney's on fire. In a good way or bad way? Good way, yep. I did sell some puts for $79 price. Those things are not looking like they're going to get filled, so I'll probably just make the gains on the put sale. Probably pretty worthless at this point. Did I capture? I captured about a 46% gain on that put sale. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind getting filled and get some shares at $79, but it doesn't look like that. It does not look like that's going to happen. So fine for me. Let's see what else we got. Baba again. So Baba's strong today, up 1.3%. DraftKings is having a down day. Rock, what's going on with that one, Rock? GEO is up 2%. JD is up 2.5%. So JD is actually stronger than Baba. So if we're gonna pick a Chinese name to play, JD did have a little more strength in it. Cole's down a little bit today. Cole's actually up today. 3M down about 0.5%. MO about 0.5%. MPW 0.75 down. Oh, man, I forgot we had these. I keep forgetting we have this Octa trade. Yeah, so that one's looking good today for our swing. So we had an official swing trade on Octa. Almost up an R now on that. Pretty decent. AT&T, it's kind of flat. Uber, it's up 2% today. Keep coming down. FSLR. I got puts expiring on October. Yeah, that one's I don't know. FSLR just, it will go completely bearish or completely bullish without reasoning. That one's wild. You're at a little good support now, which is a problem. If you can get any candles that close below 208.47, you should be good with those puts. What expiration? The Disney ones, they are August 25th. Yep. So still got 20, well, including today, 26 days till they expire. I think I picked them up on 2 days ago, I think. I think on the big red day. Let's see. Let's go here. Let me put JD over where Lucid is. Just so I can flip this to a daily chart. This is what are you talking about? Disney? I think on Thursday is when I picked up the puts. Or sold the puts. That's today could be an interesting day on Disney. That is quite the little move. $90 is definitely going to be some kind of resistance on it. But yeah, on Thursday, roughly toward the lows of the day, this is where I sold it. So had a good location. Like I said, those are already up 46% for me. We did a whole long-term thing on Disney, talking about the $85 range. So we'll see. Which is why I sold the puts in the first place. Tesla 10 EMA on a hammer. Maybe. Tesla could do nothing today. It might just stay inside. So yeah, you definitely have the 10 EMA there. You actually have this 10 EMA. This is the first one. So if you were to get in on that, your entry would be somewhere around 266.27. But you already had some kind of a bounce. And then this is up in this range, 267.39. That's going to be a spot. I mean, if you missed the original breakdown on Tesla, there's probably some bears looking. So I think that's going to be your resistance. So I don't know if we're able to get through that. If we are, then I think we're looking at 268.64 in a bullish direction. Yeah, I'd like to see. I would like to see Tesla come back and kind of almost retest this 264.03 zone, and then see if support holds there. Tesla did break the high of Friday. Let me see. Tesla. Yep, for a little bit. We're like, what was that? The opening candle, essentially. I think Tesla just probably hangs out in the zone for today, maybe tomorrow. But if Tesla starts to get going, that will have a phenomenal move, I think. At least back to 279.23. And if not, it's got a wide open gap above us. That could be filled. To fill that gap, that takes us right back to essentially 291. For 6 minutes, we were higher. Why do you check SPY and not also Qs? Just because I'm running out of room on my screen for the most part. I do check the Qs in the morning. For the most part, I do just keep the SPY here though. And then if I see anything interesting coming in or tech is moving certain ways, then I'll tend to pick up I'll put the Qs up here for just to check it out. Just more or less, just that's what I watch more than anything. Just comfortable. Again, a lot of times the Qs and the SPY will move very similar together. So to have both on your screen could be overkill. Again, unless something like tech is going crazy and everything else is at a standstill, then it's probably smart to check out the Qs, which will pull up. But yeah, for the most part, just, I don't know. Simon says, what is your favorite strategy for afternoon day trading? I like the afternoon rollover. I don't know if it's called the afternoon rollover. I'm trying to think if it has a name to it. Basically, what I like to look for, probably my favorite and most consistent, is finding those companies. It's kind of similar to what we're in on JD. It's just not we didn't get it in on the right time frame. So usually the play wouldn't happen yet to be technically considered the play. But I like to find those companies that are, especially if they got a good daily chart, they're bullish on a daily, something like that, but they have a really good morning and they're just getting ripped higher, right? So something very, very strong. And then usually around like 11 o'clock or from anywhere from like 10 a.m. Eastern to 12 o'clock, it's been pulling back after having a really good run. This is where I like to draw the fibs. And I want to see the company kind of come back down to the 50% retracement or the 618. And then just kind of hesitate. The hesitation could be a couple candles, 3 candles, something like that. Or it could be extended, right? I like the extended, just sideways chop. Then I'm able to put my entry above here and then stop down here. Because a lot of times, once you have the traders coming back from lunch, and usually volume is a lot slower during, I'd say probably like pretty much now till 1 o'clock ish. Volume's a little bit lower, and then after 1, it starts to pick it back up again. So essentially, I'm looking to bracket this sideways trend at a good pullback location. The sentiment was still bullish at the beginning of the day. And then you typically can see that next little push either to highs of the day, or sometimes you'll get that nice little breakout. So this is usually happens around 12 noon to 1 o'clock, somewhere in that time frame. But you're going in the direction of the trend. You're going bullish. It just kind of pulled back. People took their profits from the morning. It's just resting until volume comes back in. And then you usually get that pop again. So it is very similar to what we were looking for on JD. Again, just the only difference is this setup usually would occur a little bit later in the day. All right. I'm still looking for one more little pop bullish on JD. I'm going to be as patient as humanly possible on it. We'll see. I can't really move stops yet, can I? Do I want to? I'm going to move stops to 41.29. We'll get a little higher. $41.29. So we'll take some risk off the table. It did reject where we thought. And this is still kind of just a pullback, but I really don't want to see it breaking down that green candle. So 41.29. 1.29, new stop on JD. All right, SPY again. Essentially, we are exactly where we opened. So if you're joining us late on Real Life Trading All Access Pass for a free week, you've missed nothing. The market is giving you the opportunity to catch right back up. So very, very flat day overall. Just some chop back and forth. And again, on the days there's chop, you're typically looking to take less trades. Otherwise, you're just giving yourself more of an opportunity to get chopped around. The good news for us is VWAP is a penny above our entry. So the longer it hangs out here, the more time that VWAP has to climb higher, and that could get our stops to break even. Cindy says, will this be a double top on Tesla? Your guess is as good as mine. This would be the spot to double top, though. Again, even for Tesla, I mean, this is still a very tight bound day. I think Tesla could break bullish, but I think it looks good. Just a matter of when. And I don't know if today's the day or not. I don't know if today's the market, the SPY and the Q is surely not helping push Tesla along. That's for sure. Palantir could be setting up again. You do have a little 10 EMA there. We are on the northbound side of $19. We talked about that pre-market. So as long as we stay above that $19 range, I still prefer to be more bullish than bearish. If this thing comes back below 19, that might be your opportunity to short. Take a look at meta. That's a gross looking chart. Just gross. That's just barcoded, very small, back and forth. That's a tough one. Moved your stop to 75.05. Where'd you get into this one? What was your entry? 75.05 is your stop. Yeah, I like that location a lot. Pretty much similar thought that you're having on Wayfair is what I had on this one. Trying to give it some room to work. You're above the VWAP. Oh, 75.05 is also your entry. You got a beautiful fill. 75.05. You probably took it maybe above this hammer. Maybe you caught that little retest too. That's possible. Can't lose, but yeah, I fully agree with that stop. Here's your little bit of a breakout. That's all the bulls trying to hop in. So you're looking good. Feels like you're in the right direction. But now if those bulls start to get taken out, yeah, I would just be out of that trade. So especially if you're able to work that one to be break even if the bulls can't hold. And you got a lot of upside potential in that. So that looks good. Ray is in the house. What's up, Ray? Let's see. We got Microsoft, MSFT. It's definitely your support spot right there. I'm not sure what this fib is that I have drawn out. It's probably from a different day. Let me see Microsoft on a daily real quick. MSFT. You're inside Friday's candle. Friday's candle was also inside Thursday's candle. So we're just consolidating. I don't know how much upside or downside there is to this one. But I think Cindy said before, buy low, sell high. This would be the case. So you're trying to come in. You still got VPOC from Thursday's candle, which is also right now where we're setting up. So I would think 335.41 is going to be a major resistance to the higher side. If you can start getting some closes above it, then your target could get you up to about 337.83. But even with that, you're still going to need a lot of bullishness on your side. So I think you're absolutely right. I think this is a good, there's your double bottom, higher lows. This is all retest. Probably even maybe looking for a bounce or entry, one more drop to 334.60. Give you a good risk reward on it. I'd have my stops low of the day, 333.26, but yeah, I'd be concerned about the upside to that. All right, JD coming back down. Square is much better. Well, PayPal is definitely strong. Square's looking good too. A little bit of a pullback. Kind of looks a little double topish. So again, you did break down here. You had bullish sentiment. Even this one, I mean, you have bullish sentiment on the day. Let's see if this one comes in for a double bottom or something like that before I get in. SPY's pulling back a little bit. Yeah, it's not falling off a cliff. It's just slow moving. This could be a very beautiful candle for us. Let's see where this one closed on JD. Beautiful looking hammer right above that VWAP. And if we could get some more bullish momentum, get us back to that 41.70 zone, then we should be able to get our stops to break even. And then we'll continue just to hang in as long as humanly possible in trades. See if we get above that 41.82 zone. This is our, I think, third attempt if we could get back up there. That would give bulls a little bit more sentiment to try to push it back. But yeah, SPY does look a little bit double toppy. SPY's below VWAP, below some moving averages. Really, we had that one big flush in the morning, and we have been essentially inside that flush. So the bears are trying, but the bulls are pretty resistant, so they're still kind of hanging in there. We're not really making any progress outside of that candle. That was a very good, I would say this would be a trapping candle on JD. If you were bearish, oops, I don't know, hit the wrong button. If you're bearish on this one, like this is where you've got to identify the traps. And again, I don't know if this holds or not. If this candle starts breaking down, then it's not really so much of a trap. Otherwise, you're looking at that support and you're saying, man, if this thing pulls back and comes down, if you were bearish on JD whatsoever, that's your spot where you're going to try to get filled. You just got filled. You were good for a hot second, and the bulls just ripped it right back. And anybody who did take that breakdown in short, they are trapped. So we should be able to move our stops, I think. Let's go to break even. I'm gonna throw back to break even. Where'd we get into this thing? This is 41, 42. That's where my stop goes. $41, $42. Can't lose. All right. So we got a free trade. Ivo says, do you add to open trades on JD? You could. I do sometimes. But I'd have to. So the only way to do it, the answer is flat no if it's going to be if I'm risking now more than an R on the trade, right? So if I'm like, okay, great, I got in here 41, 42, my stop was wherever it was, 40.97. I'm not going to set an additional trade here. So I'm not going to take that entry and then a new stop. Now I have 2 R's of risk. The only way to really manage it is saying, okay, this looks like, man, that's a beautiful trap candle. How many shares would I have if I was to get here, entry, and then my stop right below it, and essentially just play this candle, right? And I'm already in the trade. Because this spread is so much tighter, it's going to be more shares. So let's say I have, just throwing out numbers, let's say I have 500 shares on that first trade, but this type of trade would actually be 1,200 shares, right? So what you could do is go, cool, I'm going to now put in for 700 more shares right here, but my stop is going to go right here. So essentially what you're doing is you're still risking the same R on that trade. You're coming in with tighter stops. The problem is now you're going back to, hey, I could still now lose an R on this trade, right? If you're comfortable with that risk, fantastic, right? You need this thing to move a lot less to hit targets, and that looks good. For me, though, I got in down here. My stop was all the way at $40.97. So now, worst case, I've taken all my risk off the trade by moving my stop up to break even, and I'm just going to let this thing play out. Right? Again, I just don't really feel like I want to risk. If I don't have to and I could take a free trade, I'm going to take that free trade for me. But there's been trades, AMD, where it just gives you a different setup, better setup. You're able to, it's pulling back. I'm not in the green yet, and I want to take something else to kind of maneuver. Yeah, I've done it. But typically, no, for me, if I'm risking the R, I'm just risking the R. I might close the W long if it doesn't hold the 76 handle. Let me see where we're at on that one. W market does look like it's trying to pull back a little bit. So anything bullish, we're not going to get. I mean, the only benefit for JD is it's a Chinese company. So while the market will definitely affect it, it might not be as affected. We'll see. Wayfair, though, you're probably a little bit at the mercy of the markets. So the market pulling back doesn't really help. What you could do is probably get your stops a little bit higher. I think you could probably get your stop to $75.24. Or if you want to take 10% of your target of your shares off the table here, you're locking in some gains, and then I'd probably move stop a little bit higher to 75.24. And no matter what, you win on the trade at that point. All right, now you got a little bit of a bull trap coming in. I'm gonna hold tight because I can't lose on the trade. SPY is definitely pulling back. Looks like we hit a double top and we are cranking lower. But worst case, we tried JD and it'll be a break even. If the bulls want to come in and save the day, here's the time to do it for the bulls. I'm not sure that that candle on the SPY is going to allow that, but we'll see. What is a 1.2 on this one? 41.96. We couldn't even get there. What's an R on this one? We were still shy of an R, so still playing defense. And if we could get saved here, which is possible, VWAP is slightly above our entry, so we still have that to support us. Cindy says 266.37 by 267. So you're going short on Tessie. Probably just got stopped out. Let me see. Broker still says it's open. But I would expect to. I'm just expecting to get stopped out for break even. We'll see. So far, so good though. It didn't take my shares. The answer is yes, Yates. I think there's a separate icon. I'm actually not sure what the icon is, to be honest, Yates. Cameron says I was stopped out of JD. 8 cap, yeah. So 8 cap is a little bit more spready. But for right now, I'm able to hang in this thing. I'll take it. I'll take the near move. Successfully shorted IoT for 1.2. I'm a bit allergic to shorting. Shorting could get fun though. IoT. I don't even know what this one is. I have no idea what this ticker is. Let me see. IoT. Let me see on the daily chart. Samsara? I have no clue. What this is a technology software? Okay. It's good retest. Nice little gap up. Could I mean it filled yesterday's candle. If it is going to come a little bit lower, I know you're out of it now, but 27.62. Otherwise, yeah, great fade. Way to play that retest. All right. So again, I'm still in on JD. Is anybody else still in JD? Did anybody else get stopped out? It looks like 8 cap. If you were trading on that one, you might have. Nancy's still in. David's still in. We got close. Woof. Again, so I don't know if we I don't know if we can get the bounce on this or not, but we pushed it to the line on that one. In by 1 cent. I think it was less than a penny because it looks like we got down to it had to be like a half a penny or something we got saved by. I'll take it. Still don't know if this trade works, but chip in a chair, leave me in. Not advice. I wouldn't say it's advice, just suggestion. That's all. I'll make suggestions. But yep, still hanging out there. Looking good on the dubs. And again, now, is this a trapping candle or not on the SPY? That is the question. We'll have to see in the next couple candles what this market wants to do. But this could be double bottom. Lots of volume came in on that candle. That was the second most volume. That was the most volume after the opening candle. So if we could get back up above this candle, especially immediately, 457.41, and that's a trap, then this market just rips. And then I think we should be good with JD. But if this is just all kind of some people that were shorting, maybe from this little reversal candle, lots of volume, people taking their profits, and we start to break this down, then this is a 10 EMA bearish if this candle breaks, if this stays green. Suggested that. Let's see. I don't know. This candle and the next probably 2 or 3 could get very, very interesting for the market, which we haven't really had that much interesting candles today. But this could be a potential. Let me see if anything else is moving. Is there any news on that drop? It's actually a very light news day too. I haven't really seen anything really crazy come in. Just like sporadic moves with rando volume. It's very interesting. I don't think we have any Fed meetings today. I don't think anyone's speaking. We're just kind of waiting on the fact that 2,800 companies are reporting earnings this week. Yeah, I don't see any news whatsoever. Not lately that would have caused that. I am DJ Dan. And then in 20 minutes, we have Johnny coming in. I believe Tony uses Interactive Brokers, or at least did at one point. I've never actually personally used Interactive for no reason. I just kind of started with TOS. But yeah, when Tony comes in, I believe after Johnny today, if I'm not mistaken, it's either Tony or Yates. Let me check the schedule. Tony's using trades. I believe he used Interactive at one point though. I could be wrong. We'll have to ask him. Yeah, so 3 to 4 o'clock is Tony's going to be doing options. So if you guys are interested at all in options, it would be definitely a session that you want to pay attention to. Joe is on IB Interactive Brokers. So yeah, there's definitely some traders in the room, just not me personally. But if you want to throw out your question, Joe's here. Joe's willing. All right, again, market just came kind of to a standstill. I would imagine that makes a ton of sense with that volume, that amount of short, that breakdown, but you could definitely be running into a double bottom. Bulls did buy this thing right back up. I don't know. Tessie's trying to go bullish. I think it was Cindy, I think, is in this one. I use TradingView connected to Interactive Brokers. Not perfect, but better than. I'll go with poopy software. I could keep it clean. Yeah, a lot of Canadians. Maybe I don't know if Tracy uses it. She might. I don't know if Tracy's still in the house. Tracy says no. Okay. So I guess lots of Canadians use it, just not that Canadian one. Okay. Maybe a little double top on Disney. Again, this one has had a quite the run today. You are getting lots of volume starting to come in. You do have a little, you don't really have a great trap on this candle. It didn't really break through the pivot, but definitely double top. So if anybody wants to attempt a Disney short, I would be looking in this range. You're going counter trend on that trade for sure. But it is up a lot, and it could get even a pullback into this VWAP, which would be 88.37. Come on, JD. Can we just get a pop already? You know you want to. You don't have to try to stop me out first. You already did. You already did try to stop me out, and that was not very nice. But we're past that now. We're past it. Just go. Get back to the high of the day. We can put our stops higher, lock some gains. It's a slow moving day for JD. All right, Tesla. So again, it was looking kind of bearish, but so was the rest of the market. And now it's just like, I don't know. AMD double bottom. I believe it's it looks a little inverse head and shoulders. So the one thing you got to watch out for is the VWAP coming in. They're a decent support. I don't know how it's going to do around 113.41. That might be a little bit of a pressure point for it. That's also right above VWAP. Definitely have that inverse head and shoulders feel and look to it. This candle should have broke the neckline. Let me take some of these fibs off because I don't really need those. That's not a bad 10 EMA. I hate the VWAP being right there, but otherwise it's not a bad 10 EMA. It will be dependent on the rest of the market, though. It's been a it's still positive for the day. It's still green, so it's going to hang into some of those gains. This might be a spot people might want to look. Let me know if you take it. I'm going to see what happens on JD first, and I only got really 16 minutes till Johnny comes in. But that's not a bad 10 EMA to take. So, and if for anybody interested, again, the only thing I really hate about it is VWAP is right there. VWAP, and then I see a little bit of resistance at 113.31. But otherwise, the candles do look interesting. 113.24 would be your entry. Stop. I would take my stop below those tweezers personally. Otherwise, on a real 10 EMA, you're probably taking 112.71. I would probably go with 112.50, something like that. Paige, what's up, my guy? Yeah, I missed you, Paige. How have you been? Yeah, good to see you, man. It's been a minute. Hope everything is well with you, man. Palantir. Maybe a little double top. They're still above that $19 range. I'm going to get my stops up a little bit more. I'm going to take it to 41.45. This way we lock something in. 41.45 is the new stop. Let me update that in Slack. 41.45, new stop. All right, we could only make money on this trade. That's a position I like to be in. That's a position. Now the question is that all the money it's going to give me? Or can we get more? We'll see. But We saw the trade, we took the trade, everything else, we managed the stops best we could. The rest of it is completely out of our hands and just up to the market at this point. Well, let's see if we can find something else to get in trouble with. I got 14 minutes left. I don't think I really can, unless it could act quick, I guess. We'll see. Otherwise, I'll be off the mic. And then usually at this point, if I was to take a trade, I would just update any stop movements after I'm off the mic in Slack. But being that it's free week and there's a lot of people here that don't have access to Slack, that would be useless. But Johnny's on the mic, so he could follow it and let you guys know. So maybe we'll see if we see something. Something looks interesting. Yeah, Cindy says that's enough time for you to find some trouble. Yeah, I know. 13 minutes is it's a lifetime when you're looking for reasons to get in trouble. All right, let's see. Unity software. Nothing. What about snow? Nada. Back to Nvidia. Could be a little double bottom on Nvidia. Again, just worried about the ranges on a lot of these things today. All right, so I have 12 more minutes left on the mic for today. I will be back 4 to 5. We'll go through the long term. We'll get into some long-term discussions, how I personally manage the accounts, what I look for, things like that. And then I'll be back with you guys tomorrow morning. But before I leave today, do you guys have any questions for me, whether it's on this JD trade, any additional trade, what I look for in certain things, anything that I mentioned that I was not clear about, anything that I could help you guys, or just RLT related, anything in that aspect? But let me know what questions you got for me. Like I said, I got 12 more minutes that I'll be with you guys. And then you got, like I said, a living legend himself, Johnny, coming in right after me to crush the market till 3 o'clock. Gene says, when you chose the stocks you're showing, what parameters did you consider? That's a good question. So on my screen, I always have SPY here, right? I always want to know kind of what the overall market's doing. And like I said, I always have that on the 5-minute time frame, just because I don't want to get captured into the smaller time frames and get lost of where we're actually at and what the rest of the market's doing. So I want the bigger time frame for the SPY. And if I'm like, okay, you know what, we're probably reversing a little bit, so now maybe I want to go bullish on something, or that's how I get my sentiment for what time to trade things. Otherwise, I have Tesla usually always here because I trade Tesla a decent amount. It is a very volatile stock. There is a lot of money you can make every single day on Tesla, and it does put in good moves. So Tesla I usually keep up here. Today it's kind of a little bit of a range bound dud, I would say. But on the days, especially when it starts breaking out, there's decent moves, decent money to be made on Tesla. AMD is just another stock that I trade a lot, and I've gotten very comfortable trading. Again, I haven't made any trades on it today because it's just, the short would have been decent. But I'll just watch those two a lot. Nvidia is another one that I just get comfortable I just watch it a lot and trade it. The rest of them, and some of them have rotated throughout the day, but the rest of them are usually stocks that have something interesting in them in the morning. So whether that be a gap that's trapping a lot of people, Palantir's just been on a bullish tear for the last few weeks, and you're starting to break. I was looking at that $19 range. We did get above that $19 range. So I will be watching Palantir to see if I can get and I do have shares of it already. Like I said, I've already got some covered calls out there on it. So I'm already in it no matter what. But if I could get another bullish trade and we are somewhere at 19 or slightly above 19, I might look for another opportunity to go bullish on a day trade on it. Disney, we just got up here, just having some momentum. I'm looking for this one to get some kind of reversal. If I was to play something short, it would probably be Disney here. JD, we're in for a trade. Everything Chinese related stocks have been getting, from what I'm looking at, some decent bullish momentum over the last couple days. So I've been just checking JD, Baba, and that's kind of how we found this JD trade that we're in for right now. And then Wayfair, I think, had a nice little gap on it too. So um, basically, these ones will kind of rotate based on what we're looking for, and it usually involves some type of either news catalyst, some kind of earnings play, some kind of a big move it's had, and then I want to watch it throughout the day to see if there's anywhere I could snag a couple R's on. Yep. Otherwise, and really, if there's something inside day, which both Tesla did break out highs of the day for a little bit, but for the most part, Tesla's been kind of inside today. AMD's kind of inside. So if there's a stock that's just inside yesterday's range, they're going to be range bound until they're not, right? If they could, like, then it's just essentially you're just trying to buy it as low as possible to the floor of yesterday's range and sell it to the top and vice versa until you start really breaking out of the prior day. You're going to get a little bit more chop on those inside days. Let's see, where did I move my stop to? 45, I think, right? I think I'm still in this thing. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit more wonky if you start gapping out or you start breaking the prior day's range. There's going to be a little bit more momentum on those stocks, and that's where you're going to make some of the money on day trades. And today's been just kind of, like I said, a little bit to the flat side. But all right, Win. I'll catch you later. Well, looks like they're still going to keep me in, at least for now. Let's see if I can get a little double bottom down here. Keep my dreams alive. Let's go. Yeah, and the more you trade too, Gene, the more you trade, the more you'll start to like certain stocks. Right? You'll have better luck on things. Every stock has its own little personality to it. Like AMD, it's got this little like if you see a good wave count on AMD, from what I noticed, it usually gives you like this like a perfect looking trade setup. And then I found out just be real patient with it because it usually has one more stupid move in it or something that will stop people out first, and then it goes in the direction that you were looking at. A little bit of a trickster, AMD. But if you've been trading it enough and you start to realize these things, that helps with the overall long-term trading P&L. So you'll tend to find stocks that you gravitate toward just from seeing it over and over again, just getting that screen time in. Yeah. I found, John says, I found with AMD don't move stops too fast, just for that reason you mentioned. Yeah, I've also learned don't be so aggressive on the entry too. Like that perfect trade, which it will give you a lot of great looking setups. And then I just find like I'm gonna be extra patient with it because I'm gonna wait for like that one more like it almost looks like it should be a great fill, and then see if it pulls back a little bit, then get in. So yeah, just be patient on AMD. But otherwise, it has really good range throughout the day, and you can make a lot of money on AMD. But look at JD just fighting to keep me in. That's crazy. Okay, we'll see if it holds. And again, the market did put in another big candle, so JD pulled back a little bit, but it's still holding. I waited for entry today, and it just didn't come into play. Then I think you played it correctly, Cindy. I think you played that perfectly correctly. If the stock is not doing what you want it to do, then okay. It's okay to not take 7,000 trades. I like to be in 7,000 different trades at once because it's fun. But I rather trade for making money and find fun elsewhere. Yeah, we were looking at this trade before too. We were looking at this one. We're like, yeah, okay, it looks like a good setup, but the VWAP is right there. Mike says AMD has bounced 2 times off the daily 10 and gone right back to VWAP. Yeah, a little bit range bound. On a bullish sentiment, you did make new higher lows. We have not made that new. Got a little double top, which is resistance. But yeah, if it breaks through, that old resistance should be new support. Wayfair, way to hang in there. I believe you're still in this one. Trying to get that pop now, so we'll see. And again, we've been extra patient with JD. Most likely we get a small win, but if it could do something fun and cool and start to break, that'd be fantastic. Still in. Ron is in W as well. That was a good looking close to that candle. I wish it closed a little bit higher, to be honest, but otherwise, that should at least, I think, give you a stop placement to move a little bit higher. It's tough, but you do have good support down here. The only problem with moving your stop up aggressively, 75.97. And even on that candle, there was some volume, but not a lot. If that candle either had more volume or closed a little bit higher, you could probably get your stops up to like 76.16. Otherwise, 75.97 is decent, but you're putting your stop below that VWAP. So again, depends on how far you are on this trade, how much you're up, how many R's. I would consider that stop placement. If you're not even close to like an R yet, then I think you still kind of don't have a choice but 75.26. Ron says, I wish it closed much higher. Oh, there's that too. Kept most of the position. Beautiful. Yeah. You, by the way, when you take partials, again, depending on how many R's you're up on the trade, but typically you're only going to try to take, I'd say, 10% off. You want to take, if you're going to take partials off, you want to take something very small, right? If you're not at your targets yet, because this 10% that you're taking off, and then maybe if you're taking another partial somewhere, that one's maybe 20% you're taking off, right? Something like that. Just because your money isn't coming from this, right? You're not clobbering trades. The idea of taking partials isn't to just get paid. That's not your get paid play. This is just a risk mitigation, right? If you're taking 10% off somewhere, you're just saying like, okay, cool, get me some shares off. Maybe I can move my stop a little bit, and you're trying to lose as little as possible on a trade, because now you're locking in some gains and letting the rest ride. If you're going to take partials and your partials are like, I'm going to take 70%, right? And there's a time and place for everything, so don't get me wrong. But if you're taking 70% off at here, it's either because you're already in the profits, like you're up a lot on the trade, and then you're like, or essentially at targets, and you're just kind of bouncing back and forth. But you're locking in a good size portion of that trade because you're very close to your final target, 2-hour target, 3-hour target, whatever that might be, right? So this, but by taking some shares off, that allows you to kind of keep your stop down lower, so you probably won't get stopped out as easily, and allow the trade to just kind of continue to work. Your stop is at 75.70. So you're right below that VWAP. Okay. JD is boring me. Just go and do fun things already. Again, SPY did come down one more time. That's kind of crazy. Still not breaking the lows of the day on the SPY though, so we'll see. And again, tons and tons and tons of earnings this week. Tesla's
Danny DJ Janson. How you doing, my brother?
Johnny G in the house, ladies and gentlemen.
How you doing, my man?
Dude, it's free week. We got so many fun people in the house with us this week.
I'm so stoked.
How do you not have an incredible time?
You've been having a great time?
Great time. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the market is disagreeing with us. We tried to set a couple trades. We just missed Palantir was a great setup. Gave me everything that I wanted. As I was typing into Slack, this candle popped up, so I wasn't able to take advantage of it. But We saw the
Man.
trade. We just couldn't. The market wouldn't let us. We tried a few more setups, and they just didn't trigger or fill. So the only thing
Mhm.
we're in now, for me personally, and I think we have a couple of people in Wayfair, a couple of people, I think in Tesla, um, maybe a few other stocks somewhere, but Square. I think some people were watching Square as well today. But I'm in JD. A couple of us are still in this thing. It's been a time. It's been a time. We got our stops too, and I still like it. I mean, we got rejected exactly where I thought we would. Still hanging out above the VWAP. We're still on the initial play, and we can't lose. We could only actually win on this trade for right now where our stops are at. But I just need a little bit of more momentum to get higher and hopefully cruise this out. I'll wait as long as it possibly takes for us to get there, but I still
Nice.
like it. So I'm just going to see if we carry this one home or not.
All right. Sounds good. I played JD this morning with you. A little bit different. I'm already out, but yeah, it's been upsy downsy. A lot of inside candles today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I
Lots.
think, I mean, this one definitely had some bullish momentum. So that's pretty much what we're trying to play. I think we're in the right
Yeah.
direction.
Yeah.
And the question is how high can this one go? I'm looking to get back to this 41.82, and then we'll have to see. And I think if we could make it there again, I would think we have a good possibility for the break on the next time.
Hmm.
I just don't know. Maybe we don't get back up there at all. Who knows? But can't lose on the trade, so we're getting paid to find out.
All right. Sounds good. I'll cover it.
All right.
You're gonna be updating it. You hanging out with us? What you doing today?
Yeah, so any moves I make, I'll put in Slack. And again, a lot of people that are here for free week don't have Slack, so you usually update and let traders know regardless of anything that comes in the Slack. So I imagine you'll do the same, but if you could just make a note of that too, because some
We'll
traders,
tag team it for sure.
yeah, we'll tackle it. We'll tackle it.
Absolutely. Are you coming back today, or I think you're all done, aren't you?
No,
Oh, no,
I'll
you
be
got
back.
later
I'll be
on.
back 4 to 5 today for the
Yeah,
long term.
some long-term investment stuff.
Some long term investing. Yep.
All right. Sounds good. Let me grab the screen from you.
All right. Awesome. And I'll make you